Good evening. It is Sunday night again. It is time to do this thing that I do once a week, which is talk more nonsense, talk more drone, and talk more, well, drone and nonsense, really. Hopefully, we're all up and running. Let me just spin my head around. Everything looks good behind me, which should mean we are all okay. Good evening. Hello, Ash, and good evening, Ash. You go to bed. You need your beauty sleep, my friend. You can't look that good without plenty of sleep. That's for sure. Thank you for the chat thing. I remembered to get it all up and running as well. Yeah, no problem at all, mate. Good evening, Phil. Nice to see you. Good evening, Mark. More abuse from Mark, indeed. Good evening, me, because I'm in the chat as well. Now, tonight, I got a few things to talk about. I want to talk a bit about SKYDIO because there's some interesting things emerging and some interesting comments, and there's a little bit of drama blowing up on one or two places, and it's got me thinking really about, is SKYDIO the enemy for commercial operators specifically? Yeah. And this is sort of reflective of a post that was done on, I'm trying to remember the website. It's on it's not Ash, it was on one of the other ones. It'll come to me in a second. My brain is gone. Good evening, Robert. How are you? And it has got me thinking, because as a commercial operator, where do we stand? And actually, if you look at the evidence, it stacks up one way, but we'll talk a bit about that in a minute. We're also going to talk about the new Ronins. They are out. They are amazing, and I don't have one. I was meant to have one. There should be one here right now. It didn't arrive. I don't know why it didn't arrive. I'm probably not getting one. That is what it is. When you deal with these things, you sometimes are involved and you sometimes not. Now, I've been quite a lot involved for this for quite some time, and but who knows? So it is what it is. Like, you can never complain about not getting access to something. I do have one. Actually, I have two on order. I've been spending more of my DJI credit. I'm not going to be able to keep them. I want to keep the RS2, actually. I really want to keep the RS2 for active track, because it'd be really handy for live streaming as well. But I'll talk a bit about that. I want to talk a little bit about something for the digital FPV system, which hints something might be coming in the future. And I am going to touch a little bit on a video that I put out 2 hours ago, roughly, on the Inspire 2 firmware. Now, for everyone who we've got 12 guys watching. For everyone who is new here, if you're new, welcome along. If you're not new, hello. I hope you are all safe and well. Please do put any questions, comments, or anything in the chat as well. Please do give us a like now and again as well. Please do share now and again too. This is the second channel, obviously. We're building it up into a monster. We've hit 110 subscribers, I think, on this one, which is fantastic. You know, it's smashing away. We're getting there. I think I just need another 890 and I'll be able to monetize this channel. You got to love YouTube, the way it works. You can have one channel which is monetized, yet you can't transfer that over to the other one, yet it's the same person. Bit strange setup. But it is what it is. So, yeah. And if you guys have got any questions along the way, please do put them in. Good evening, Big A. Welcome along. Love the name. Just checking up on the chat. I've got the chat here and I've got the chat here. Now, I don't know what you guys have been up to today. I'll just show you something quickly, what I've been up to today. Just to show you something. As for those of you who watch know, I've been doing a lot of work on my house, and that is the mess I ended up in today. I can tell you now, that is not good for your health in any shape or form. It certainly isn't good for you in any way. But let's just say I've been doing an awful lot of sanding today, and that is the result of it. So that's the image that will stop you sleeping tonight, ladies and gentlemen. It really is. Good evening, Bruce. Welcome along. A visit from an alien. Good evening, Typey. Welcome. How are you doing? Just letting a couple of guys roll in. We're up to 13. I'm going to finish my tea before we kick off. Blimey, I have a twin. Someone said I look like Doc from Back to the Future in that one, which made me laugh. You know, it's I'm definitely old, and I'm definitely getting bald. I hadn't shaved at that point today. That is an image from today, by the way. Just finishing my tea. But someone has said I look like Doc, but we'll have to see. Yeah, it's not good. I'm sure, whilst we all know human malware isn't good for you, I'm sure that really isn't good for you as well. Can I print that and put it on the mantelpiece to keep the weeds away from the fire? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm willing to sign them, by the way. I'm willing to, in fact, I might sell them. They will be available on my merch store. That's what I think we'll do. Jibber Jabber, welcome to the stream, my friend. Hope you are well. We will put them up on the merch store. Anyway, that's enough of the nonsense. Let's get on with this show. I say a show, whatever this actually is. I have something in my hair. Well, it's something pretending to be my hair. Oh my God, don't even say things like that. Don't even say things like that, Big A. I won't be sleeping tonight now. Anyway. Now, okay, let's get that up. Let's get that up as well. Now, I want to talk a bit about SKYDIO. And I've split this into some sections. I got a board over there to remind me of the points I want to talk about. As we are going through this, guys, please do put your comments in and I'll pick them up. I have them on a second screen over here as well, just so I can see them. Actually, my eyesight isn't that good, so I'm going to have to bring it a little bit closer. Bruce has only come for the nonsense, which is what he always does, which is fantastic. I'm going to put something just under this, just so I can see it a bit better. Super reflective screen on this tablet. That's better. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is SKYDIO, because there was an article, pardon me, I've seen today, which is quite interesting, and it is on Drone XL, is where it is, and they talk about, you know, is SKYDIO the friend to the commercial operator? And it's something I've been thinking a little bit about, actually, and the fact that we still don't have SKYDIO over here in Europe, the UK, in many ways, the SKYDIO is a vaporware product for UK and European users. You know, yes, there are two products available. We've got the SKYDIO 2 and we've got the X2. And, you know, let's be clear. The X2 is it's not really a commercial drone. It is part of the Blue UAS program, specifically designed really for governmental and military applications. And whilst I think they have sort of, in the early days, marketed it towards commercial operators, I think now it's not a commercial operator drone. So the only real commercial operator drone SKYDIO make, in my opinion, right now, in the sense of something that the average Part 107 is going to buy, is the S2. Okay, so that's where I think they are at today. And you got to look at, is SKYDIO friend or foe or friend or enemy to the commercial operator? And you've got to look at this from what they're trying to do. Now, as I said, from a European point of view, this product is vaporware. It basically doesn't exist. And I don't mean it's renderings and it'll never happen. We know this product is available. People are buying it. We don't know what the numbers are that are buying this in real world. But what we know is it is available in limited quantities in the US. In the UK, Europe, it's a pipe dream right now, which isn't going to happen. But the interesting thing with the SKYDIO 2, especially, is what they have pushed it for is the automation, and they've pushed it for this clever, intelligent flight, automated flight, flying around objects, doing stuff for you. So much so, as I've said, there's been a little bit of hoo-ha on Twitter, in the sense of they've really been up in the ante in some of their tweets and stuff against DJI specifically, and I've had a few comments on a few of them, and I don't particularly like the angle they're taking on Twitter. I think they're being a bit punchy, and I think you're better letting the product speak for itself. But when you break this down, what they are offering is a product that is by far the best autonomous drone out there, hands down. That is not up for debate here. It is the best autonomous drone in the market. It is by far the cleverest intelligent system. It is proper object tracking in the sense of the way it uses those 4K cameras on all of the arms. It is leagues ahead. You know, 3 cameras, 6 cameras in total through the. It is leagues ahead. But if you look at what they're actually trying to do from a commercial operator point of view, they are very much looking at taking the pilot out of the equation. And everything they're doing is about making it automated, making it simpler to fly, but very much that you don't need a trained or qualified pilot to actually do it. And you can really see this from the really early videos. And I haven't racked this one up. I'll come off that a second. But one of the very early reviews of this, the guy with the motorbike who took it out over the hills and mountain areas, and there was one piece of footage in that where the aircraft avoided a post, or it swung around to avoid a post. But what it actually did was swung around, avoided the post over someone's private property. And it actually flew up like over someone's front garden or back garden, I think it was, and then proceeded to fly off. And whilst this was extremely impressive, it opens up a lot of questions around this technology. And those questions are, yes, it's autonomous. Yes, we know it's able to do stuff, but it's then doing stuff that you wouldn't ordinarily do. You wouldn't ordinarily fly your drone over someone's front garden. So you're starting then to see some drawbacks of the system and some behavior that the automated products perhaps need to emphasize more, in the sense of, yes, it can fly itself, but where does it stand when it's starting to go over? We know you can fly over someone's airspace. That's different, but still, you wouldn't intentionally just fly across someone's front garden, just like you wouldn't intentionally drive into someone's street and turn your car around in their front lawn. That was very much what the aircraft did. And this is where it all gets quite interesting. And if you look at Skydio's marketing, as I've said, let's bring that image back up. They have been very much pushing this automated setup. So much so, they showed the footage of their Skydio dock. This product that you would put onto your building site. You would autonomously control the drone from a remote location anywhere, and every day it would fly out, take images of the site, go back into its box, download those images, automated, and you would do that from anywhere. And really what they are doing here is actually saying that the pilot isn't necessary or is the dangerous part of the system. So much so that they are really marketing themselves in this to be the all-in-one solution. You don't need the pilot because our system will do it all for you. And it's very easy to argue in this that Skydio are actually working against commercial operators, and their business plan is to actually make commercial operators redundant. So it's an interesting position that they're in, and it makes you wonder where all of this is going to end up. Now, when the S2 first of all released, it was marketed everywhere, as the next best drone. We know the volumes of sales are not massive, simply because they can't produce enough of them. Sales appear to have been good, and people are still getting their pre-orders now. There's people on RC groups, the Facebook groups, all going. But I don't see them going out in great numbers to general users. If you actually look on YouTube, and I did this earlier on purpose, actually. I've done a search for Skydio, and I've done a search for DJI Mavic. And the reason I've done Mavic is I wanted to narrow down most popular drone from DJI. The Skydio is very much in that territory as well. And if we just have a look at how many videos have been uploaded in the last couple of days, at the top of the list, and this is dated latest backwards, basically. So let me put myself up. You can see we've got this one, a question someone's put up 4 hours ago. When are they going to sell it in other countries? We all want to know that. There's the drone news video from Drone New, which was 8 hours ago, again talking about Skydio promoting unsafe flight, and this is really where I'm driving this conversation today. Skydio 2 fall in Kentucky 17 hours ago. Skydio 2 Droney, 19 views. Not sure where that one is. That's an interesting name. And then with 21 hours, someone in the woods. Now, if you look at these videos, they're all very much just a guy being followed on a bike, which is all very nice. I think we'll take a look at one of these in a minute, actually, to see what they're like. Walk through woods. I think we'll take a look at that one as well. But, you know, there's nothing great here. You know, there's some interesting videos, don't get me wrong. The view counts are certainly very low. You know, you're not getting someone doing an unboxing. Lucky man. September man has finally received his Skydio. Lucky boy. So there is some stuff coming out, but if we look at it compared to the DJI, you can see that there's 3 hours, 3 hours, 3 hours, 3 hours, 3 hours. There's tons of videos, which we would expect. Okay, let's not pretend we wouldn't. It is what we would expect to see. But my point on this is there's nothing here that's really making me think, and I'm going to put this up because I'm interested to have a look at this one myself, actually. There's nothing really here that makes you think, you know, lots of people are using it, lots of people are flying it, it's being used, you know, by large amounts of people. Now, this is quite interesting because this guy's obviously on a motorbike, he's following down the road. Obviously having to keep looking back to check it's still there because you're always going to be wanting to do that. Certainly a lot of trees, you know, it's interesting. Did you see that then? You know, now that's very reminiscent of what the DJI system does when it's tracking. That it's moving in and out as it's trying to lock on. You know, as good as the tracking is, this is not cinematic footage by any means. And let's look at the line. That drone then, let me just drop back. You know, if we just go back on that, I just want to show you, you know, if you look at where that aircraft is at that point, I'm going to pause it there. The aircraft's obviously just over the line because perspective comes in. But again, it's that autonomous flying where it wants to go, not where you want it to necessarily go. You know, you wouldn't be able to do this in the UK. It would be completely illegal. Oh, it's avoided that tree there. Very impressive the way it does do it. Let's be honest. But it isn't cinematic, is it? I don't know. I could be wrong. Let me. You know, I don't know what you guys think. It's yeah, that's quite. You know, there's no question this isn't impressive. Let's be honest. But it's not. You know, that's not much different to what DJI will do. I'm not. It wouldn't do this. Okay, that is impressive. But now look at it. It lost him. It's come round. It's over the top of him, looking down. Now, has he done that? Has he moved it in front of him? I think he has. I think he's done that. Okay. And then it's come back up behind him again. Still flying through the trees. Oh, we got that one here. Down. Yeah, you know, it is very nice. But it's still not... I'm just not convinced it's great footage, really, more than anything. Then gentleman pulls over and that's the end of the video. So, yeah, you know, there's videos on YouTube, there's tons on there as well. But, you know, obviously we're not seeing the same numbers of them on YouTube or anywhere else, and especially I'm not seeing commercial operators running out to get it. Now, there is a couple of reasons for that. It still is a small 12 megapixel sensor. It isn't good enough, and whilst you can use a Mavic 2 Pro, for instance, with that 1-inch sensor for doing commercial work, you could use a SKYDIO 2. They're certainly not going to be doing the kind of work that an Inspire 2 does and things like that. But you know, when you go through all of this and you look at what Skydio's plan is, they are very much driving a product which is designed to take a pilot out of the mix. And the reality is they aren't really offering any solution for commercial operators and really are very much working against them right now. Or their plan or their long-term goal means the end of a Part 107 pilot or commercial drone operator. And it isn't, you know, it's an interesting position that they're marketing themselves in. And I do wonder, you know, where this is all going to end up and whether Skydio could even end up pulling out of the commercial, the domestic drone market. You know, the X2 is not aimed at commercial operators. it's you know, if I'm a commercial operator in the UK, if I was in the US, you know, the old 333-107, I wouldn't be able to just go out and buy one of them. They're not going to talk to me. That, I believe, is the case. You know, they will sell it to who they want to sell it to. And the S2 is certainly not the perfect product for doing the normal kind of work. And when all of their marketing is about providing autonomous drone systems that actually take me out of the equation, and rather, as I said on this site here, you know, we got this video where, you know, their drone is, you know, on site. It's got a nice little black box and it's going to do what it's stuff all the time. And it's, yeah, you know, I wouldn't be in a job. Yes, Mark, I have. Yeah, they're looking to put commercial drone pilots out of a job. Now, it's easy to say, but yeah, that commercial drone pilot then is going to sit in an office somewhere. But the reality is they're not going to do that. They're going to put lower skilled labor in. And, you know, me, Gary, Bruce, we've all spoke about this lots of times, that in the end, the pilot will be taken out and the drone will do everything itself. But SKYDIO are really pushing that along. So, you know, it is an interesting position. And tell me what you guys think. You know, when you look at the evidence, right now, SKYDIO are not working with commercial operators, and they're very much working, or their plan is to exclude them altogether. That's where their plan is at. You know, they've certainly got this industrial X2 model, which is for government. You know, it's on the blue UAS list. You know, so it's not going to be available to anyone and everyone. They're going to be making enough of them just to cover that blue UAS. And I'm not even sure they're going to be able to keep up with that demand. And the SKYDIO 2 isn't the perfect product. Now, does that mean they might not bring a product out? No. You know, we could see something to compete with the Inspire 2 tomorrow. But the reality is their overall goal and their overall game plan is to remove the pilot from the situation and let the drone do the talking and let the drone do the work. And then the person on the ground simply becomes a guy able to press a button and tell it to do what it needs to do. But let me know your thoughts on that, guys, while I'm going to grab myself a drink from here, first of all, and catch up with the chat. I'm just going to go back up a little bit. Actually, go back up quite a lot. Catching up on the chat, guys. Let's have a look. DJ, a lot easier to buy. You are agreed. DJ, much easier to spell. Bruce, yes. To us here in the UK. Yeah, that's an interesting point, Types. So Types has said, if it avoids a pole and then takes a cruise over the government area in the US, who's responsible? And that, you know, it very much did that in that first video I saw. Fly through people's gardens. This neighbor built a 2 meter. And the walls of fortress. Yeah, you know, Jibber Jabber makes a point about it being uncrashable. No drone is uncrashable. And they were silly to put that in the marketing. Waste of Rob Rowe, waste of money, one trick pony. I can crash without trying, as can I, Bruce. Wait for the A2 CFC. Let's fly. You only need the odd 3 seconds. 9 grams, 25 watching. Yeah, welcome aboard, everyone. You get the Bruce, interesting point Bruce is making. You could get this exact footage from a GoPro on a kite towed behind the bike for a lot less money. Yeah, and actually, you know, and this is where that gets interesting. If you look at that bike footage we just showed, that would look very good from about 10 foot back, but ridiculously dangerous and illegal to do. So this is the problem. You know, footage at 40 foot up doesn't really excite anyone. What would be better is stabilized footage off the bike behind. They are like hen's teeth to get. Stabilized poor pilot. DJI could make one that would wipe the floor with it, but the Rob, yeah, you know, I do think people have said, why aren't DJI competed with this? I do think they have taken a certain attitude to autonomous flight. And they've had this attitude for quite a long time. If you actually look back, they were very reluctant to bring all of the autonomous options to the Phantom 3, and they brought in the SDK for that, which is where Litchi and all of those apps came from. Those apps grew out of DJI allowing other companies to offer third-party software that worked with their drones. DJI did implement basic features, POI, but there's no proper waypoints in that. Now, they have changed that with the Pilot app and this new software, but they have been very cautious on that. Very, very cautious. And always have. It's still to this day. The third-party apps, you had Litchi grow up, you had Drone Deploy was another big one in the early days for autonomous stuff, as was the other one I've got. I can't remember what it's called now, actually. So they have been very careful not to just go all out and give you everything, Jeff Taylor, Scary. Good evening, Jeff. Hope you are well. Skynet moves ever closer. They can't make enough. No, agreed, they can't. I'll be sticking to jobs where I have to take the photo then. Equivalent of a self-checkout at the supermarket. Vodka and orange. I'd buy the fly. I reckon only Parrot can build enough. Yeah, it is interesting. And, it's where do Skydio end up with this is the real interesting question. Is where do, and I'm just going to check in on Facebook while I'm here, just to see if it's actually working, because I forgot to do that. And if there is anyone watching on Facebook, hello. Oh, we're definitely on. I'll bring the comments up just in case. It never tells me on this software if anyone is watching. But it is interesting. So I think, from my point of view, from a commercial operator point of view, from a Part 107, let's just say this was available today in the UK. Skydio are not offering anything that I need as a commercial operator, but also, would I want to put money as a commercial operator into a product and company who are working to make me redundant in the future? Now, we can probably argue that aspect is inevitable. I do think that is the case. I think we all agree at some point the Pilot, but none of us want to push that along. None of us want to be the people who do push that along. Bruce, how long before they make one of the big defense companies simply make Skydio current stakeholders? Yeah, I do wonder what the long-term plan is, because, I think you have to be very fair to them. They've delivered an outstanding product. There's no question about that. I think the big problem is that they can't actually deliver on that, in the sense of they can't make enough. I think from what I've seen, their production line is highly manual, but they can change that in short periods of time. I think they're probably struggling from a component point of view right now, access to parts. I think many companies are. And when you have the likes of DJI, you can just buy up all parts on the shelf. We're just taking them all. We're just taking everything for the next 6 months. It's going to be very hard for them to move forward. And now they've got the X2, which is one of the Blue UAS, alongside Parrot and a few others. And if you look at them, I think the Skydio and the Parrot are the two lower level models of the Blue UAS. I think they are at the lower end of the scale. So it does make you wonder where they will end up. Gary said to get bought out is the plan. I think you're probably right. I do think. There's no question their technology is years ahead of everyone else's on this. But I'm not convinced it's the right technology for the commercial drone market specifically. But it's interesting. It is very interesting. Now, as for what's going to happen in the UK, we still can't buy this. I still can't order one. I still can't get one. Gary, I know, had someone who was going to send him one. Or has an order in, I believe. Is that coming anytime soon, Gary? Lower end. Yeah. Just waiting for Gary. It is interesting, you know. I don't know what their plan with Europe is, and the X2 complicated that, because if you now look, they've got 2 production lines, and the X2 is the one they're going to build over everything else because that's the money. You know, let's be honest. With the S2 being $1,000, $999, you know, if we just bring it up, where is it? So what is it? Reserve now for $100. So I can give them $100 and reserve one. But it's $999, which is the starter kit, which is obviously just the drone. Yes, 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 yes. So the starter kit is just the drone and the beacon, I think it is, isn't it? So what do we get? No, it's just the drone, is it? Is that the beacon? I can't see. Does it say what we get? Oh, here we go. Sorry, SKYDIO 2 warranty batteries, wall adapter, yes, yes, yes. No, so the drone is $999 on its own. It's been a while since I've looked at this myself, actually. So where's the beacon on the list? So there's the Pro Control. Oh yeah, there's the beacon. So the standard drone is $999, and that's smartphone control at that point. You've then got the next pack up, which is $1,499, which they call the sports pack, which includes extras, including the dual charger, a micro SD card, and a beacon. You know, so you're not even getting an SD card in the basic kit for $999. So it's $1,400. So at minimum, it's $1,400. That's the very basic kit. You cannot say it's $999. DJI have never sold a drone without a remote controller that I can recall. Just make sure I am saying this right. Okay. Tello. Ignore that, because that was sort of, it was DJI, but it was to the side. The Tello didn't have a remote controller. Oh no, the Spark. Spark didn't have a remote at the box. You had to buy it as an extra. So sorry, that's completely wrong. They've never sold a drone for $999 without a remote controller. I'd probably be right in saying that. Jibber Jabber, you got there at the same time as me. Yeah, to think then. So yeah, you know, so $999 is getting us that. Put myself back up in the corner. I know you guys want to see me. So, and okay, look, for 1,500 quid, you're getting 3 batteries. It's like the Fly More kit from DJI. It's fairly well priced. But then, or obviously the cinema pack, you get all with the joystick controller and Pro hard case. So if we were to say reserve now, how much are they charging for just the remote controller? You can't add it at this point, then, can you? Let's just have a look. SKYDIO X2. No, you can't. Oh, $179. So at minimum, if you wanted it with the remote or the beacon, it's an additional $179. So 1179. Pardon me. Oh, it's been a long day. 1179. As type said. So, you know, okay, it's not terrible. Let's be fair on that. But you can't buy it anyway. So I still can't buy it. Still can't get it over here. Still can't. Just gonna check in on the chat again, guys. Let's just have a look. Fake news. If you could, it would be amazing balls, but only has a few seconds at a time, I think. Let's have a look. Oh, there's Gary saying there. You can't get it all 3D. Yeah, it's like gigs of stuff. You can get a few seconds worth, I believe. Fake news. Spark in the beginning. Yeah, that's right. It's the Anafi one. It's the Anafi controller, but it's not the same system in the sense of it is Wi-Fi, but it's their own protocol. So you can't buy a used Anafi controller and use it on the Skydio. But it is basically the Anafi hardware, as I understand it, or at least the external shell, and I suspect it's the main PCB as well is the same. But you cannot go and buy a used Anafi controller. It's different firmware. You can't upload their firmware. We don't 100% know the differences, but there are some differences. Yeah, or collaboration. Yeah, I think they're probably, and there is a tie-in between Parrot and Skydio. It's no coincidence. Both products on the blue UAS are Skydio and Parrot. And actually, could Skydio be manufacturing the Anafi USA for Parrot? That, I think, would be an interesting one to dig a little bit deeper into. I wouldn't be shocked if Skydio are doing the assembly for them as well in the USA. I could be wrong, but there's quite a tie-up here. I would buy one to test. Would I keep it? Probably not. So Big A is asked, so hands up, if it was available in the UK, would I own it? Okay, 1 second. Let me just get down the trusty Mavic 2, which has been stuck in its case for longer than it should be, really. I haven't flown much recently because of everything going on at home. I have to say that, but let me get her out. Second. I'm going to take her out this week on my remote controller. Let's get it down. Parrot making for Skydio. Other way around. So Parrot are manufacturing the X2. Yes, well, that did happen. I can't deny that, Bruce. Let me just move some things around. Okay, so Skydio 2. If it was available today, would I buy it? Okay. Yeah, I have flown it a little bit, but nothing fantastic, Mark. I always, like, thousands of batteries. There's about 200 batteries in this room that I cycle. White powder, saw the evidence. White powder, what white powder? I was covered in white powder. We all know what Deadpool thinks of white powder. Do some stuff. What, with the drone? The S2 versus the Mavic 2 Pro. Same 0.5 or 0.3 inch sensor as the Mavic Pro. Great image, 1 inch sensor. It's got object avoidance that works enough for me. It has, I will jibber jabber. It has great footage overall. Its form factor is fantastic, and it does one thing that the Skydio doesn't do that I love, which is this. It folds. And whilst, yes, the Skydio isn't massive, the Skydio cannot do that. And for me, that is a pretty big deal breaker. Now, would I be willing to give up folding and a 1 inch sensor to have that autonomous flight? I would probably sell the Mavic 2 Pro to try it, but I wouldn't end up keeping it because I never go anywhere that I need a drone to follow me through woodland. If I need a drone to follow me around a field, that can do it. If I need a drone to follow me down a track, that would roughly do it. The one occasion I would need it. Would I be willing to give up everything that the Mavic 2 Pro has? 1 inch sensor, Hasselblad image color, 100 megabits a second, H.265, which I think the other one can do, fold-in design, good battery life, a system I know how to use. And that is where I'm at. And I just don't see what Skydio bring to the table that can't do. So for me as a current owner, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't instantly think I'm selling DJI for a Skydio 2. If I was in the ballpark of thinking, well, I'm going to buy one or the other up front, which one would I go with? I may lean towards the Skydio to have something different. I might do that. If I could get one in the UK, I would buy one to try. 100%. I'd love to try it out. I'm desperate to get one on the channel, but I can't do it. There's nothing I can do about that right now. But I still think, as a user and as someone who wants a product to do a job, for instance, as a commercial operator, I'd buy this because it's the 1-inch sensor and I can get great images from it. As a hobby user, I might lean towards the SKYDIO. I might. Catching up on the comments. Right, you're talking about me now. Let me go back. Other way around. Gary, he hasn't flown because of the police turn up. Yes, that is correct. Do some stuff. Jibber Jabbers, tell us the story of the police. Crossing the border with black snow. You're not trying hard enough, though. Fold decision, hard landing. Wait, there will be a firmware update. Then it will fold at least once. Right, okay. Does everything on site keeps our flies, lands, uploads data? It doesn't need to fold away. Yeah, well, it would for me. I'm on the edge of international data lines. No spyware from the SKYDIO perspective of marketing. Okay, but let's address the spyware spying. That's offline. I can fly that with my Crystal Sky, which isn't online anytime. There's no spying. It can't communicate. I can come home, put my phone. I can use a dedicated tablet. I control my data. I don't need to put that online. That aircraft has not been connected online for over a year. In fact, it's not even on the latest firmware. I didn't even update it to the latest one DJI put out. I just didn't feel I needed to. And I couldn't be bothered to get it off the shelf in any rush to do it. That aircraft will work today. I can connect it to a phone, which is tablet, which is completely offline. I don't need to go online with them. He's a day ahead, so he's already watched the stream and knows what happens, I think. Let's have a look. Hang on, we could use that for no spyware from Scott Mark. Hold on, we could use that for betting. He cheats. He's a day ahead, so he's already watched the stream. He knows what happens. Bruce Einstein, yes. Big A, thanks your goodness. I've just reasoned in the DJ market. Yeah, I think if you break down the two aircraft, SKYDIO has the autonomous advantage, hands down. If that's really important to you, buy the SKYDIO 2. If having a product that isn't Chinese is important to you, buy the SKYDIO 2. If you want a product that's probably the best overall package, it gets a lot more complicated. And as I'm used to DJI gear, I would lean on that. Updates for spying. I've got a login for DJI, which gives me access to all sorts of stuff as well. I don't know if that still works, actually. I'll have to try that one. Can't talk about that one. That's firmware which generally doesn't exist. I always get the spying comment when anyone sees FPV system. Yeah, people will accuse you of spying anyway. What about the Panasonic box camera? Which one is that? Which are you talking about? The new release? Preloads envelope. We send it off to China every weekend. That's okay, isn't it? Yeah, it's easier to do it that way, Bruce. So anyway, that's SKYDIO. I've given them 45 minutes of free advertising on my channel. Look at that. Whether they class it as positive advertising or not, I don't know. To summarize the SKYDIO situation, is SKYDIO a friend or foe? Well, I think for commercial operators, it's very much that, with regards to what their future plans is. For consumers, I think they're a friend and they're making a great product and I want to play with one. I want one in the UK. I want to take it. I want to try it. I want to play with it. There's some really interesting design choices on it. I think it's got some cool features, great product, one of the most interesting companies out there. But wind your marketing team's neck in a little bit, please, on Twitter. I do think they're being a little bit silly and it's not doing SKYDIO any favors. That's what I would say on that. Just checking on before we move on. Local drone news. Yes, it's on a local drone news website. Whoa. What are we talking about? Let me just go on. All right, what have I got to do here? www. So I got to go on a popular drone news website. Drone. No, sorry, Gary. Just winding you up. Panasonic. What have I missed? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? And Gary's website. This is, you know, SUAS News, one of the most popular commercial drone websites, I would say, that has a dedicated section for Blue UAS, and you won't find that anywhere else, ladies and gentlemen. So please do check it out. Right, what are you saying, Gary? Where is this? It's on a local drone news website. Yours isn't local, it's in South Africa. So I'm just reading the comments on there. Okay, I'll wait for that to come up. So, we're going to have to see with them. But if Skydio does end up watching this, please get this thing in the UK and Europe. We want to play with it. We want to try it out. We really do. Okay. That is the Skydio thing over. So I'm going to take a drink break while I got you guys put in the comments. Please tell me what you think. If you are here watching for the first time, please do consider hitting that subscribe button. I am going to check out Facebook to see. Do you know, I don't know if anyone watches this. If you're on Facebook and you're watching this, please tell me. Because I'm paying for this and I need to know if it's worth it. Ah. Is it on your side, Gary? Right, it's a biscuit. Okay. If you notice the amount of American drones that are coming out right now, it's incredible. The amount of these we're seeing hitting the market, it's insane. But as Gary has rightly said, these aren't Blue UAS. There's a lot of money going down the pan right now. Does search work on Gary's website? Or was Gary talking about? I'm not seeing anything. We'll have to see. Okay. We'll wait for Gary on that one. Oh, thank you, Mark. Thank you, Mark. Thank you for that. Okay. The next thing I want to talk about is it's gone. The new Ronin S2. No, it's not. That's the Ronin SC. Now, I've had a Ronin. I've done quite a lot of content on the Ronin series on this channel in the past. I was one of the first to actually get the Ronin S. Bought that out of my own money. That was a bought one. That one was a review unit because I was involved when that one came out. And this stuff doesn't appeal to everyone. But as I'm a big camera guy as well, the Ronin RS2 and the RSC2 has finally launched. I'll talk a bit about it now, just to give you an overview. But I've known about this for a long time. A long, long time. I've been waiting for this forever to come out, actually. Let me just turn that back on. I was sort of involved in some early feedback based on all of them. The firmware on this, the active track and all of that. And I was very lucky to be talking to Paul Pan and a couple of other fantastic people at DJI, especially on the gimbal team and stuff. And, you know, this is one I've had to keep quiet about sort of for quite a long time. And it is a massive upgrade. If you're a Ronin user, the RS2, it's in a different league to the original Ronin S. It's lighter with a bigger payload. It's carbon fiber arm, not fake carbon. It's real carbon fiber, entirely redesigned. Proper built-in focus control on the front now. Total redesigned handle, 1.4-inch LCD touchscreen for controlling the gimbal sensing instead of having this bolt-on unit on the side. Improved battery latch. They've got rid of this horrible slide-on battery. And you know, like I'll be polite, but that design should never have made it out the door. if I just lock the axes on this a minute, spin around, thank you. If I just lock this up, you know, the way this is done, you flip the lever back and the handle comes off. To lock it, you put it down and then you lock the lever. But if this came loose in use or you accidentally knocked it, you're holding it this way, its natural direction was forward. It would want to fall off with your £2,000 camera on the top of it. And whilst it wasn't common, it was something you really had to be aware of. That stupid latch is gone. It's a whole new push-in battery into the bottom. It now charges directly in the battery separately as well, which means you don't actually have to plug something else in. You can actually charge the battery directly. It's got all new stabilization options. It's now got the new RavenEye wireless video transmission system, which is very cool. And I'll talk a little bit about that in a minute as well. There's a ton of stuff on this one. I'll check my email now. I will check it now. Now, let me just bring this back up when I'm on this one. Now, the big changes, obviously, are the total redesign on the unit. Bigger payload, up to 4.5 kilos. Much better overall carbon monocoque design. Now, I have put a video out on this specifically. That's the built-in screen that you've got on it now as well, which is touchscreen, allows you to do all the settings. Scrolling down a bit further, you've got Active Track 3.0, but I'll give you guys just a couple of hints on that, which you can see it on the screen as well. Now, you can't actually control it from the screen. The screen is just showing you. You can't use the screen to draw a box around. You still have to have a phone for that. But you can get all the settings. You know, I had to buy the command unit for the Ronin S and SC, which was separate. They've called it Titan Stabilization. But there's a ton of cool accessories coming out for this as well by a company. Now, the big interesting part of this system as well is, let me just get down to it, is the RavenEye system. That's the built-in focus control now on the front rather than it being on the side. Like on the S and the SC, the focus controller, you could move either side, but it was this separate unit. I got it on the side of the commander. You've then got this new 3D focus system, which they've introduced, which is using TOF sensor. Now, this is very cool. Talk about that in a second too. And then let me get down to RavenEye. Now, there's a bit to understand with RavenEye. It is a separate adapter which comes with it in the Pro Kit, which does the wireless video transmission from your camera's HDMI to your smartphone. It is not point-to-point, so it doesn't transmit from unit to unit. It's in the sense of there's no receiver. It's Wi-Fi over the smartphone to the Ronin app is how it works. Now, RavenEye handles a lot of the onboard intelligent processing for Active Track. So whereas before on the Ronin S and SC, to do Active Track, you had to mount your phone on the top of the camera. Horrible system. This now does it as part of RavenEye, but you have to have the RavenEye unit to use it. You can't do it without RavenEye. So if you want Active Track 3.0, you have to use RavenEye. It is compatible without a phone connected. You can use Active Track without a phone, but the only way you can select your subject is with the trigger on the gimbal, just like you can using it on these ones. You can't draw the box to track that way. You have to have the smartphone connected to draw the box around the subject. RavenEye can be used as a standalone device with a USB-C power source as well as a HDMI input, and it could transmit any HDMI device via Wi-Fi to the smart device via the Ronin app as well, which is also very cool. Now, obviously, the SC, it's the new battery, much better design. If you've used this, you'll know what I mean with that dodgy battery design. And it is very much a pro unit this time. Very, very much a pro unit. And it folds up much smaller, better, and lighter. Now, this is the RS2. There is a RSC2, which is the replacement for the Ronin SC. Let me come full screen, which is this one here. And the big changes are, again, bigger payload, lighter, built-in screen, but it isn't a touch screen and it isn't color. It's a small OLED informational screen. You can use Active Track, but not onboard screen. Major improvements, again, focus control on the front, all of that lot. But the big difference between the SC and the RSC2 is that you cannot remove the battery on the RSC2. What they've now done is on the Ronin SC2 is made the battery integrated to the system, and it isn't changeable. It's part of the unit. So if you want a gimbal that has the option to change the battery, it has to be the RS2, not the RSC2. Now, this one was meant to come out, the RS2 was meant to come out over a month ago, and the RSC2 today. What DJI actually did was delay the launches to allow both to come out at the same time, and there'd be stock available of both out the door. So much so, guys who ordered on launch day this week had theirs the next day. They've already got them. They're done. Now, that was in the US. That hasn't been the case in Europe. Those of us who've ordered in Europe haven't seen any stock move. I have both models on order through a dealer. I'm not sure what's going to happen when we get to that, but when I'm told they're going to be in, I'm going to sort of make a choice of what I'm going to do then, really. But that's pretty much it for the Ronin SC2. It's a massive upgrade. You know, I'm a big fan of the Ronin series. They are very good bits of kit. They're not perfect. They have some issues. All products do. But they are very, very good. And the way I've looked at the new SC2, the RS2 and the RSC2 is they've moved the Ronin S into a pro level product. Hands down, it's a pro level product now. It really is. And the RSC2 is more your semi-pro consumer. There's also some fantastic accessories coming, and I'll show you them now after I've caught up on the comments. Check your mail. I'll check it now, Bruce. Thank you. Why can't people just learn to hold a camera still? Yes. Choose. They sell a lot of Ronins. DJI sell a huge amount of Ronins. They are very, very popular. The Ronin S Robro was extremely heavy. The SC is light. RS2 is lighter. They are heavy though, with a GH5 on the top of it. Trust me. Can't you just use your Mavic? You could, yeah. Does it work within 4 kilometers? There are no restrictions on DJI's handheld gimbal products. Now, the other really cool thing for pro users, and I just need to find it because I can't remember the name of the company. I forgot to put it on my list. Let me just find it on my phone. Let me just, gotta be here somewhere. Ah, yes. TILTA.com. TILTA.com. This company is, I don't know how we pronounce their name, Tilta, are making a massive range of accessories for the new Ronins. A massive, massive range. Now let me just find the page because it was a blog post. And they have worked with DJI, and DJI have given them official access. Here we go. It's down here to the DJI communication protocol for the Ronin SC2 and RS2. And they are introducing a massive range of accessories, which includes a control handle, some car mounting jibs, a handle that will allow you to use it like a Ronin M. That's going to be available as well. It's proper nice gear. You know, this is pretty high-end stuff as well. Don't get me wrong. Actually, that's just a video showing you the outside. They've got the car system. They've got a slider for it as well, which would be very cool. I'd like to see the slider. They've got the car jib system. Let's get past these. That's the whole car jib system with the RS2 on it. You've then got the... One of these videos is just... Yeah, no, that one's the same. It's just a bloody advert showing you what the stuff can do. It isn't showing you the device. There's a pole, like a Steadicam. Going down. This I love. There is a what they call a cable camera system for the RS2 as well, which I think is going to be fantastic. And then you've got the, the whole gear kit, which is going to be available as well. So there's some very, very nice pieces of gear. And again, they've been given a official access to the communication protocol on the Ronin series. So all of their accessories will communicate, all of the controls will work, it'll do everything you expect it to do. Just like on the handle there, you can see they've got the DJI mount on the side, the focus control. It really is some very, very nice gear. So yeah, that's the Ronin stuff. Just catching up on the comments. Actually, I'll start the bottom one with my monopod. We can keep that going. Wrote this comment a week ago and it just turned up. Are they? That's interesting. I wonder why that is then. I don't know what the refresh rate is. Do they have a helmet mount? That's okay. So that's a helmet mount. Okay, so someone write a comment for me. Let's put a comment in. Let me so I can see it come up. I'd say that I've got a lab down here. I got a wee bit of lab. Where is it? It's disappeared. Oh no, no, yes it is. Is it? I've not used the crane. Okay, I've used the lab. There's a lab there, like in its box. There's a new. Everything I've used of theirs so far, whilst the gimbals are nice, their software is absolutely horrible, and everything just seems a bit clunky to me. I've not used a crane 2. What I will say with DJI is their stuff is just generally so easy to use. It generally is so easy to use. I haven't used the crane 2 or the 3. I've used the lab and I just didn't get on with it. It's a nice gimbal, but the software was just buggy as hell. Buggy as hell. It really was. The live transmission system wasn't good enough. Way too much delay on it. It's a nice cat. It's a nice unit. The 2S is a very nice gimbal. Don't get me wrong. Let's have a look. Crane 2S. I'm trying to remember, but I've just found their gear temperamental. You know, all of these are designed for mirrorless. Okay, they've got all of the usual support options. You know, with these things, they're all to a point of mushiness of a mushiness handheld gimbals. It's as good as you are. It really is. Zipline, how would you say? It's better now. I haven't written it's already appeared. That's fantastic, Bruce. Thank you for that. That is really good. Okay, so that's the Ronin update. Anyway, as I said, I have ordered 2, one of each. I know for a fact I will be selling one of them, so I will do someone a deal on one of them if they want one. I might have an open boxed one to show because I might just open it, do the review, and pass it on. I want to continue to do the Ronin reviews because I've always had good traction on them. But it does mean buying a product. Okay, handle more weight. I'm using the new RS2 is 4.5 kilos. So what's the weight on the? So let me just have a look. What's the weight limit on? You got to take into account with the Ronin. DJI say tested to 4.5 kilos. They also put a couple of videos out with some monster cameras on them before as well. Parameters. Okay, so let's have a look. Crane 2S. What's the payload? I can't even see where they say the payload is. This is what I hate about some companies. Stabilizer, accuracy. I don't care about accuracy. What's the payload? I'm putting a camera on it. I need to know what the payload is. I've had this week testing some other products, and one thing I'll say is DJI do make life a lot easier when you're trying to figure stuff out. As do QPilot, as do a few others. They're really good at providing good info. Okay, what's that? I don't. Payload capacity. 1/4 inch. Yeah, I don't care. Payload. I'm going to stick a camera on it. I need to know what the maximum payload is that I should be working towards. Yes. Focus all the way. That's fantastic. Bigger screen. Yep, fantastic. Access mechanism. minimized weight. And that isn't actually carbon fiber, by the way. That handle is a carbon coating, is the information I've been told. It's not carbon fiber. The gimbal isn't actually made of carbon fiber. Runtime, we've got runtime. I do like the fact you can change their batteries, by the way, though. Sorry, this doesn't make good content, but I'm still trying to get to S Pro. No. No, they're just not telling us. They're not telling us what the payload is. Is it in the comments? Have you put it in the comments yet? Fluorocarbon, yes. It's down to, you know, I haven't seen that video because the S2 looks like it can handle more white lines in BM cocaine. The DJIs can have. Bluesy's consistent. Thank you, Bruce. I wouldn't be worried about payload on the RS2. That I certainly wouldn't be concerned. But again, these things, not everyone likes every gimbal. You know, it is fluorocarbon, Bruce. Yes, I have been told. Okay, so let me just catch up on a drink. And then what else have I written down? Right, some things to catch up on as we've gone past the hour. Now, this one is interesting for DJI FPV users. Let me find the picture. If you are a DJI digital FPV user, there is a remote possibility that there is a HDMI receiver module coming. Now, just to explain this a bit more, I know DJI have been working on a module. It was designed for the race applications and they were going to be selling it only to specific people. It made zero sense to me when I was beta testing the FPV system. I basically said they are insane. I basically said, what are you doing? Release a module. We do believe early firmware in the goggles allowed for HDMI output, and I didn't have this firmware, I should add, via the USB-C, but it didn't work properly. That's why it was never shared with everyone. Now, they have been working on a module that allows HDMI out, and this week, this appeared. And this is an expert from a manual for such device, which again allows for HDMI output, and it is a standalone receiver. What you can see is the TV can be connected to the FPV goggles via the USB-C cable to synchronize live screen viewer. The TV box can be connected to the digital FPV goggles via USB-C cable to synchronize the live view of the goggles to a large screen. Now, this unit is weird because what they say here doesn't align with what they say up here. The TV box can be connected to the DJI FPV goggles via USB-C to synchronize live view of the goggles to a large screen that support HDMI signal for live streaming. However, this unit has two antennas. So what is it doing then? If you're having to attach it to the goggles via USB-C, why has it got aerials on it as well? It's a bit of a weird one. There is the two antenna connectors. There's a button. There looks to be channel selection on the top buttons. You know, I don't know what this thing is, but it's a thing that exists. You know, there's a power cable, aerials. So I don't quite get what they're doing here and how it works either. But this appears to exist. Now, we don't know how old this is. We don't know, is this what they've been working on? Is this old and it never came to market? Is it something else? You know, if we zoom in, we can see there is definitely a HDMI output. There is definitely a USB-C. That appears to be an SD card slot for receiving. That appears to be some form of UART type style connector that we've seen from DJI before. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or USB-A. It could be USB-A. You can't quite see. Or that could be the power plug. Actually, you never know. That could actually be the power connector. That would make sense. If that's power, USB-C, SD card, HDMI. And then if we zoom into the other bit, you can see again, there's a switch, appears to be a switch on the side here. That strange connector on the other side again. Oh no, that's another connector, actually. If you look at it, it's on the opposite side because the LEDs are there. Sorry, that's another connector again. And then we've obviously got our SMA or their custom antenna ports, whatever DJI tend to use. So it is something, but it does not make a lot of sense. And we're going to have to wait and see if this thing ever turns up. Now, I don't know officially any more info than that, but it is something on the unit. Now, Bruce has said powered by the USB-C on the goggles. Yeah, that's possible. Perhaps that's what they mean then for the USB-C port. Perhaps they're talking about powering it from the goggles, which means you don't have to have a separate LiPo. Seems a bit around the houses though, doesn't it? So drinking my shark bite head shaped. Oh, well done, Bruce. That's cool. So reasons. Powered by USB-C. Yeah, it's very possible. But it's something that DJI have clearly, that is a DJI buck. I've seen so many of their stuff over the years. That is it. It's in Chinese and it's got very little English. Whether that is the unit they're meant to be handing over to dealers and race organizers and things like that, I don't know. Whether it requires some strange connection for goggles for some strange reason, because they do odd things at times, but it does appear to be a device. It does appear to be something that exists. Or a power. They can't use a power switch. Bruce, remember the power switch is patented by Fat Shark. Remember that one. So that was one thing I wanted to share with you guys. Interesting, but we're going to have to see where it ends up. Now, the final thing I want to talk about, and I've actually put a video out on this tonight. Wiping my eye, some dust, as you could see earlier. Let me just find it. And that is about this damn firmware update for the Inspire 2. Now, I did a video on this about a month and a half ago. I beta tested this firmware. I've had no problems with it. I put myself up for this so you guys can see me. I've had no problems with it at all. It works fine. It works as it should. It does everything I expect it to do. Some people, though, have had problems with this new power limit that it is restricting their flight in use. Now, there's a thread on this on DJI Forum and a little one on RC groups. Just to be clear, there seems to be 1 or 2 people having these issues. Not great numbers. Someone has jumped in on Facebook and said about it as well. And there's been a bit of... I've had a few comments thrown at me on this that I've not been genuine or I've known about issues and not said about them. I'll be 100% clear. I've had no problems with this firmware. My Inspire 2 has flown better today on this firmware than it ever has. Now, I will add this. I had a pre-release version, and then I had the master version. I do wonder if there was a tweak along the way that I haven't ended up having. I can't comment on that. But all I can say is, for me, this firmware has been outstanding. But a couple of people have had problems with this, and they've had it where they've had power limit failure, where it then basically takes all the power away from the aircraft and stops you flying at any great speed. And what they're saying is, in windy conditions, it's not enough power to go against the actual force of the wind. Now, I would like to see what sort of conditions they're flying in. I don't know if you're still here. Testing this firmware is what got me into trouble with the police. Just to be clear, that's what got me the police coming round. And so much so, I was basically racing the Inspire 2 on an area where I was allowed to fly at full pelt, maximum bank handles, maximum opposite thrust. So I was literally driving it full forward, roughly 57, 58 mile an hour, backing the throttle, backing it into full reverse or pitch, opposite pitch, bringing it backwards, and I flew this aircraft like I'd stole it down to 5% battery, and I could not get this to play up at all. And that was part of the reason the police turned up that day. Because when someone saw the way I was flying and they felt it was very aggressive. and I was flying by where he lived and things like that, and he didn't like it. But yes, I got into a bit of trouble with the... Well, I didn't get into trouble with the police. I waited for them to turn up. I wasn't doing anything wrong, but the interpretation by the person that I was flying over their property in an aggressive manner and spying on them. And spying on them was their big argument, but I was flying it bloody hard, and I could not make it do this, but some people have. So today I have put out a video on the main channel saying do not update a minute, because I've had a couple of comments thrown at me that I've known about this and hidden it, and I'm recommending updating, and people are having loads of problems and they can't downgrade. The reason I have now put a separate video out, and let me just find it, I'm going to bring it up, saying do not upgrade, is not because I think this is a widespread issue, is you can't downgrade this firmware. So if you could downgrade this firmware, I would tell everyone update and see how you get on. That's what I would tell you to do. However, because the upgrade is non-reversible at this time, you will have to actually either go for it and get stuck there or not. I'm already in that position without problems. Some people appear to be in that position with problems. As I've been accused of lying, not telling the truth, hiding issues, I've decided now to give my advice as do not upgrade until we see this develop. Now, I have already spoke about this at length in my other video. I'm just going to bring the comments back up so I can see them. I remember when the Inspire 1 was, muted was the term someone used earlier, Uptown used. And this could be a case of DJI doing that again, but I honestly don't feel it is at this time. But I would rather be a lot more cautious with you guys and tell you how it is, really. So that's where I'm at. So what I'm saying right now is do not upgrade. Let me just find it on the website. YouTube. There's a video on it. If you want to know more, I do talk about it in that video as well. Let me go over to Mads Tech. Bring it up. There we go. It's right there. Do not upgrade the firmware. I've put it on there. Separate video dedicated to it. There's a video there, an overview of the Ronin RSC and RSC2, gimbal not in hand info. I'm being clear with people that I don't have it. So if you're going to watch it, don't complain to me that I'm talking about something I don't have, because I do get comments on that now and again as well. Okay, guys, that is everything from me officially. I'm going to catch up on the comments first of all. Let me know if you've got any questions in the video. How's the audio been tonight? How's it been? I've been quite on top of the microphone tonight, so it's interesting. Just catching up on Bruce's comments. Firmware update. Russian hackers stole the A. I've no problems with the firmware either. Ankle bracket on. It was not me at Gatwick. Where's Karen's when you need it? Yeah, that's an interesting comment, actually. I haven't flown a lot in the last 3 months. Well, 6 months because of COVID, really. I haven't flown a lot at all. But someone said to me the other day, am I going to post any FPV footage? I am not posting any footage on this channel, not this channel, or any of my channels at this time. And there is a reason for that. I am not going to put myself in a position of someone doing what they've done to Bruce. And it's actually not because of Bruce. It's because of something else I've had in the past as well. So if people I've had a lot of people say, oh, you don't post any FPV footage. You know, I do fly FPV. I just don't post my footage. I'm not it's a difficult situation, and I don't want to end up in a position where I want to have to argue with someone over something which is pedantic and stupid. So at the moment, I'm not posting much. I will be doing a bit more when I get out and about. But at the moment, I'm very careful what actual footage of aircraft flying I show online. Where's a Karen when you need it? Oh, thank you, Jeff. Fantastic, mate. Interesting observation. A lot of Sino companies are seeking product reviews at the moment. I think they're feeling the pain of CV19. Sino? What's Sino? Cinema? Do you mean C? Sino. Or Cine? Am I being silly, Bruce? Just remind me. I need to check my email as well for this link of Bruce's. China. Ah, yeah. I've had a few requests myself. Oh, Gary, thank you. Let me just. How am I going to get this from there to there? Okay, so if I. It's on SUAS News. Box style camera. So let me just find this. Oh, I know this. SUAS News. See if it comes up. I get a 404 when I use your search, Gary. That's funny. Okay, let's see if we can find it. I can't get that link from here to here because I've not got the email attached on this. Home type sensor. So let me just find that. Home. So home. So it's under the type setting on Gary's site. Home. I'm going to have to do it manually. I'm going to cheat. It's next to a story. Let me just... Box style. Why is the search not working on the website, yeah? The page you are looking for doesn't exist. 404. Is the search broke? Here we go. Found it. This. Box style mirror cinema and live event camera BH1 featuring that. Panasonic is proud to announce the release of the brand's first box style Luminix digital single lens camera. Why were we talking about this again? Remind me. It's that new Panasonic which looks very, very nice. I just can't remember why we were talking about that. Sino equals Chinese. Yeah, I've had on the reviews. I've had some. What have I had? Yeah, they've certainly woke up over there. Bicycle seat. I haven't had much this week, actually. Very little this week. It's going to be interesting to see how they all get on over there. You know, there's rumors from DJI of a Mavic Mini 2, and that makes total sense. I think we're going to see that. There's clearly going to be an Osmo Pocket 2 because it's leaked like a Welsh leak, I should say. And I think you are going to, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how things get on. Paint drying is being pitched for drones. Ah, right, okay. I'll have a look again now. Pavel Sketchy had one last year. Done good review. How we behaved. Channel later. With the DJI Lego drone, yeah. It is interesting time. Yeah, I haven't had I don't get a lot of. I deal with a few companies. You know, okay. If you look at the companies, I used to deal a lot with like DJI have been very good to me, but they only now deal with the very high profile people over the years. That's generally where they're at now. I've had one or two sort of interesting requests. I had a review. Just for your opinion. Sorry, Gary, I'll have a look properly now. My brain is fried. I've had one or two interesting conversations that didn't amount to anything. I've had one or two things that were meant to turn up and never did. Banggood approached me on some stuff which never turned up. I hope they're not waiting for the review because I never had the gear. There was an underwater drone I was meant to review that never arrived. that was I wanted that one as well. I was looking forward to that one actually, because I was going to get out and about and show it and do something out and about. A couple of autopilots, but working on something at the moment which is going to be interesting for Hydropilot guys. Working on that. That's going to be hopefully going to happen. But really, I don't get, most of the stuff I get is, will you review this battery on this bike seat on Amazon or stuff like that? God awful low. I've had little word from Banggood since I reviewed those god awful low LED FPV goggles. Yeah, no, they did approach me, and then they asked me some questions on what I'd like to see and what we'd like to do, and we did agree on something, and it just never arrived. So I did get an approach by a couple of companies on more computer related products, but again, didn't want to know. Agreed it, and it never turned up. And that seems to have been the common theme of the last few weeks and months. Conversation, you get an email saying, "Hi, we'd love you to review this." I reply fairly quickly. I'll have a look at the product, the company, and think, is it something I'm interested in? Is it something I think would be interesting to people? Is it worth putting my time into? We have a chat, and then they don't turn up. And you're just like, I pass my details along, and it just never arrives. And that's where it's been. There's nothing that's really approached me. I'm in that strange position now where, YouTube is extremely competitive today, even 2 years later. Whereas, if I go and look at some of my videos on the Ronin S, for instance, I was one of the very early people to do proper content on these. Not a bloody review, not going, look at me with my $4,000 camera and I'm going to show you how to film this lovely lady. Content-based reviews that gave you info on how to use the product. Let me just find them. And, my SC video, 28,000 views, which for me was very good. My remote controller video for the Ronin S, 21,000 views. 12,000 views on a complete overview. 15,000 views on active track. 3,000 on that, 2,000 on that, 43,000 views on the SC Pro combo. I was getting good reviews. I won't get those numbers today at all. I won't get remotely near them now because it's all so competitive now. And YouTube is heavily pushing the big channels. You're just getting drowned out. And I tell you something I spotted. This is interesting. Let's see if it's still there. If we look at Ronin RS2, Ronin. And before I move on, make sure you watch Josh's video from Make Art Now. He is making a follow-up to Anamorphia. If you haven't seen Anamorphia, it is one of the greatest videos from a content creator on these kind of products I have seen. It's bloody fantastic. No in between. This surprised me. Look at We Talk UAV. 3,000 views on their review video. I don't know what's happened on that channel, but no one is watching it anymore. Parker Wallbach, 128k. Potato Jet, who's, Potato Jet, he's huge. Kai W, I like Kai. He's a good guy. He's in London. He comes across really well. 10k views on whoever that guy is. iPhonedo, 29,000 views. That's down. That's really down for his stuff. But if you look, what is going on with We Talk UAV? I noticed this the other day. They're just getting no views on their channels at all. Look, Ronin RS2 review, 3,000 views. RSC2 review, 6,000 views. Phantom V stuff, 7,000. Osmo Pocket, 2 weeks ago, 1,000 views. Drone, 1,000 views. Just 1,000 there. If you then go back, right, when this channel was at its peak, pushing tons of content out, 40k, 24K, 15K, 8K, 27K, 4K, 16K. Huge numbers on some of these. Massive, massive numbers. Yet I've noticed their stuff has gone much, much lower. And I do wonder what goes on with YouTube at times supporting some of these channels. China. He does it very nicely and really calls something crap what it is crap. Let's just go back up the comments. Andrew Newton is talking about improvements. Other reviewers call them faults. Mid-roll ads are killing views, Bruce. Andrew Newton. Who's Andrew Newton? What am I missing? Who's Andrew Newton? Which one is he? Is it this Andrew Newton? Which Andrew Newton are we talking about? Australian guy. Okay. Bruce's rival. Oh, I've not seen. Yeah. Is it this guy? Tell me, is it? Let me just bring this up. I think it's this guy. I'm guessing it's this guy then, is it? I've not come across this gentleman before, so 52,000 subs. Oh, he's a bit younger than Bruce. Is he? Oh, no. Yeah. Yeah, he's putting out a lot of content, isn't he? He looks an awful lot like Bruce's content as well. Very much like Bruce's content. You know what he's got right is how to do thumbnails. I'm useless at thumbnails. He's got 3D text. Look at that. Coming back up. Everyone is younger than me. It is a serious model. Yeah. Helps if you're not got a full-time job like I've got. But yeah, just interesting. We talk UAV, and I do feel that YouTube does treat channels differently. You know, mine is in the pan at the moment. The main channel is in the pan. It's nothing to do with mid-rolls. I've turned mid-rolls off. It's no effect on mid-rolls at all. But whatever I've done to YouTube, they are not showing my content. And I'll show you something to explain this a bit. Let me just swap over to the main channel a second. And I want to show you something on a video. And this was entirely YouTube that did this. Switch channel onto the main one. I just want to bring up a stat on a video about my chair, which will make you laugh, but there's a reason for this. Let me just bring it up. Oh, wrong video. Right. This video here, analytics, I'm going to bring this up and I'll show you. I want to show you what this video has changed. Reach. I think, is it the reach chart? No. Engagement. Revenue. Unique views. Subscribe. Right. I don't watch time. I'm trying to find the right analytics views. See more. Not views. What I want is it's not the views I want, it's the I hate YouTube's bloody It's not watch time. It's the one where I want to see when it gets shown. You know how impressions. Okay. So I want to show you this video. Oh no, traffic source. Is it a traffic? Oh no, it's not that one either. Where's YouTube not showing me stuff? Yeah, it's not mid-rolls. YouTube is just not my friend at the moment. But that is the way it goes. You know, it's your channel can go through a period where it's very good, and it can go through a period where it's very poor. What I might need to do is show you it on revenue. This can't be right. Oh, wait there. Is YouTube playing up or something? It's not working properly. Right. Analytics for this specific video. Sorry, gentlemen, this is not great content. Right. See more. I managed to get this chart up the other day, and it was quite interesting when I looked at it, and I was like, okay. And it was showing you how, you know, search, how often it was. Oh, I might have found it now. Yes, got it. Now, traffic source. No, it's not traffic source we want impressions. Right. This is for one of my most popular videos on the channel, which was about this chair. And this just shows you, this video went nuts long after release. This video was released in December 19. Okay. This video was released in. Ticked along quite happily low. Nothing majorly going on. Nothing fantastic about this chair. You know, it started going up a little bit in February. And then either lockdown because of everyone working from home hit. And this video just shot up overnight. And what we've got, traffic source. This is like the traffic source. This is, so it's just showing you. And then it fell off a cliff overnight to an all-time now low level of it barely doing anything. And it was just bizarre. And I still don't fully understand why. I still do not understand why. It's bizarre. It really is. But no, you know, YouTube is what it is. You can't worry about these things. You know, subscriber count on the main channel is going up. You know, if I find the main channel, where is it? I've lost it. Studio. It's probably on the right one. Here we go. You know, we're up to 14,479 subs, which is fantastic. Views are down 12%. Watch time is down 13%. Revenue is down 17%. So, you know, it's on the plunge. It really is. But I haven't done a lot of stuff for the last couple of weeks. I haven't really put out any decent content for quite some time, actually. That's probably part of it. But it is a much more difficult area to fighting now. YouTube is, you know, everyone's putting out content. I've been having a think about this a little bit stuff at the time and trying to figure out, you know, do I make a change and do things a bit differently over the next 6 months and see what happens? Who knows? Who knows? The live streams will continue. Don't worry. Many RC channels are at all-time low. Yeah, I do think. Yeah, look, okay. I think, yeah, you take into account COVID. The very reason that chair video could have gone through the roof is that everyone was buying chairs. Their office was telling them to go and buy a chair and put it on your expenses. So people were going out and buying gaming chairs. That's probably what was happening. And you know, I'm very grateful for it because that paid for this chair. You know, I'm not going to hide that fact. That video has paid for this chair, hands down. Now, I'll tell you how much. You know, I'm more than willing to share what that video has. Secret Lab. That chair in total has netted about £400 in revenue. So that chair bought itself. Fantastic. You know, that was never expected, but it has ended up paying for itself. So there are times that you can do okay out of things on YouTube. There are times where you can not make money, but recover the cost of a product to be able to review it. But it isn't often for me, you know, and this is the problem. And if you were to take these Ronins, £800, I would not ever recover that money, ever, to review that product. Never, never, never. It just wouldn't happen. I don't know how much I've made on my Ronin videos. It certainly isn't remotely like that. And the affiliate scheme is on the floor as well. It's completely on its arse, the DJI affiliate income. I have some affiliate money there, which I've saved up for nearly 4 years. I have to be careful, and I have to actually order some products because DJI is expiring there. They've now added in an expiry date on their credit, so I've actually had to spend some of this money. I have to do it. I've got no choice. But it's from a historic period where I did okay on affiliate income and no income from YouTube. You know, if I actually go back to the start, I had no advertising on this channel, and all of my revenue came from affiliate schemes, DJI specifically, and one or two others. Now I have completely swapped that affiliate income for YouTube advertising revenue, and it's tiny overall for the cost of running a channel for a year. It isn't enough to buy. I probably, you know, it's probably enough to buy a Mavic at the end of the year if I'm very lucky. That's the sort of area I'm in. But you know, you wouldn't be able to buy something like a Ronin RS2 unless I could get a pre-launch one and be able to make a load of content on it, but it's not easy. Just catching up with the comments, except you, Bruce. Yeah, Bruce is making loads of money right now. Yeah, affiliate is on its complete bottom. And what's also happening now, and I'm not going to name any companies, but companies are dropping the affiliate rates on new products specifically. So that even hits you with a double whack. So a brand new exciting product comes out and the affiliate might have been 5% originally. You're now getting 1%. I'm not going to name a company, but that has happened with a new product release in the very near future. Thanks to the CA, Chinian has continued to growth. So yeah, on the affiliate side, companies are even screwing you on launches now because it is almost not worth making a video unless they pay you to do it. And I've never, ever, ever been paid to make a review video to this day. No company has ever paid me to make a review video. I have never agreed to one to this day. I'm not saying I wouldn't under specific circumstances, but I've never been asked. Most of the people I've spoken to, is affiliate levels have dropped by over 30%. Mine is down, Bruce, over 90 now. But there's a reason for that. It all was DJI, and they're not releasing any products. And what they are releasing, I'm not saying they have, but as I've said, affiliate income is a difficult thing right now. Half the price, maybe. Yeah, something like a Ronin, I can do it. I can do a review, and then I can flog it for, say, 100 quid less. And I won't recover my money, but you have to take into account I'm also trying to cash in all of my affiliate income as well. So I now need to cash in all of my affiliate income because an Inspire 3 never happened. So I'm slowly going to be cashing it down and passing it on. Just reading down the comments, guys. I'm glad I never hitched my belt onto affiliate. Yeah, you know, for me, it's not a problem. But wait till my new line of merch comes out. We should do joint merch, Bruce. We should do the shittest merch there is. and see how much of it we can sell. Let's think of something. Mankini. Extra, are the CAA paying him for a review? Yes. The CAA pay him to give them shit. That's the funniest part. But yeah, you know, it is interesting to see. It's an interesting comment Bruce has made, that it has changed. And, you know, for me, all my income was affiliate for years. But actually, what drove that was RC groups. I have over 38,000 posts, I think, on RC groups. I used to support people. I used to spend hours helping people with problems. People used to call me a DJ Shillords, and I just used to help people with problems. And people would say, how can we repay you? I'd send them an affiliate link and they'd use it. It was a win-win. They got support that they couldn't get anywhere else. I got some income. That allowed me to buy the next greatest product, which then allowed me to support those guys and support those guys and support those guys. That's how I used to do it. You didn't make money. It just allowed me to upgrade for free. Now, then when I started doing the YouTube stuff, it allowed, the income was actually helping me to fund bits on the channel. Now I then waited until, you know, we didn't turn off advertising revenue until 8,000 subs, I think it was, on this channel. I didn't have it on for a long time, but I was left no choice, because I could see the affiliate income doing this, and then stop, you know. And, you know, so I don't really use the affiliate stuff anymore. It's all YouTube advertising, but look, it is on the down. I've probably got to get off my arse and make some proper content. That's, you know, at the end of the day, what you've got to look at, and you have to be open and honest with yourself, that if your channel is trending down, you're doing something wrong. And it's down to me to do something about that. At the moment, I don't have the time to do that. So the channel will end up where the channel ends up, and we will see what happens. At the moment, I have a lot going on at home, as you guys have seen earlier, as I'm dressing up as a ghost multiple times a day. Yeah, something like the Mini is pretty good, as you say, to flip. XJet Mankini would be very cool. RC Groups, Facebook for modelers. Yeah, and look, I think something, the channel is doing much better than it has in the past. It is down. I am more than happy with the change as a result of turning off mid-rolls. 100%. My loss has nothing to do, well, unless YouTube is penalizing me for not having mid-rolls. That's different. But my loss of revenue was outbalanced by an increase in ad rates for the early ads. I think you get less rates for multiple ads than you do having one ad. You're almost better having one ad on your video, that is it, because they have to bid more for that one ad. And that's where my head is at on this. And I could be wrong. I do think the problem you have with having 3 ads is you're driving down your value of those ads. So it's that constant game of, Nightly, stay safe, mate. Well, thanks for hanging along to this late. I'll be finishing up in a minute myself now. Gone nearly 2 hours. Wow. Thank you for hanging around. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you haven't, please let me know. I do think that if you have more adverts, YouTube will just devalue each advert. So, you know, you're getting a third of the cost for 3 adverts, but you're not getting a third. You're getting less than a third, actually. You're getting, you know, 0.2 instead of 0.3. So you actually lose overall. My biscuit. Right, guys, while I munch on this biscuit, I think that is it. First of all, I'd like to wish you all a very safe week. There's a lot going on out there at the moment. It's not a good time in the world. Please do stay safe. Thank you, Type. Yeah, that's probably what I need to get back to a lot more, is that stuff. The problem is there's been no bloody product, and that is the problem. Unless there is product, it's hard to keep making, you know. Before I go, you know, JB, Joshua Bardwell, does an amazing job. He's built a channel of Betaflight. Okay. And every time there's a change in Betaflight, It's another video for him. It's another piece of content. He can fly when he's not doing that. But every time there's a new bit of software out, it's a very good business model, that. Let's just say from a business, constant updates, constant changes, how to program your quad, how to get the best out of it, how to fly the best, how to tune it the best, how to set it up the best, what the new features do. Every time there's an update, video. My channel was very similarly built in the early days off the Phantom 3 Pro. The FPV systems. Every time there was a firmware update, we went over the firmware, any new features, we had a look at them. I showed you them working. I showed you how to set them up. The biggest problem right now is that there is no bloody product. The reason my affiliate income is so low is because there is no product to sell. And that is the problem. You know, the last thing we had from DJI was a digital FPV system. I've done a video on that. That video did really well, but that's it. Now, perhaps an area I've made a mistake on is not sort of drifting the FPV system more into builds and showing builds. I stuck away from that because others do that better than me. Well, not better, but they've done a lot more of it. But perhaps that's where the mistakes have been. I've done a lot of it with Pixhawk and Ardropilot because I've done a lot of those builds. I do a lot of those builds. But it's a much, much smaller market. So perhaps actually something I need to look at is with FPV is showing more information on the digital FPV system with aircraft builds and things like that. Perhaps that's something I need to look at. It's all in my head. So I keep hitting the mic. It's all in my head. I've got to just get on to it. But biggest problem has been literally no product. The last proper aircraft DJI released was the Mavic 2 Pro over 2 years ago. After that, there was the Mavic Air 2 and the Mini, and I chose not to buy them because there was too many others involved. Never forget, I found the channel by searching for Goggles RE and your technical explanations on how analog can be used. No one else did that. Yeah. Back in the early days, I earned 3 times what I did now from YouTube advertising. That was without pre-rolls and mid-rolls. So yeah, I bet you did. Oh, thank you, Robert. That's fantastic. Ages poorly. The theory of basics are great residuals. Yes, agreed. Absolutely. Yeah, the head tracking. Yeah, I put that together in an evening one day because I knew someone asked me about it, and I was like, I'm going to make a video on that. Yeah. Again, the problem with that was it was driven from a feature, and you need the feature in there. Yeah, I get it. Basics are king, 100%. Yeah, iNav is. I need to put some time into iNav, but Pavel is doing a astonishingly good job on that. Astonishingly good job. Actually, I am going to do a video this week on iNav on the setup of DJI because I do keep seeing questions on this. I keep getting questions on this. So that is one I'm going to put out this week on the channel. Yeah, I do need to get my bottom into gear a little bit. I need to get this room out the way, as you've seen with the work going on and stuff. Once I get that done, we'll get it done. Right, guys. I'm going to wish you all a fantastic week. Thank you for sticking with me. I really do appreciate it. I wish you all a safe week. Please make sure you are looking after yourselves. Thank you for spending some time with me on a Sunday night. We nearly went 2 hours, and I'm going to cut it off before we do because that's ridiculous because my voice is going. I've been ranting. I would like to thank everyone who supports the channel, everyone who does. Stay safe. I think I'll probably see you Tuesday night, Bruce. I'm off work this week, so I have got some stuff I will be doing. And if you guys ever need any help or questions, please put them in the comments of any of my videos. Check out the main channel, and I will help you where I can. So, thank you for this one. Let me try and find out how to turn it off. I'm going to hit the end stream button on YouTube. Stay safe, take it easy, and I will speak to you soon. And I'm still live on